we'll close the book on that, and we will move into the District 3 playoffs, as we're excited that will start here this Friday night. And we've got a big game coming up for you on the channel. Let's show you now who's popping on. It'll be Warwick in the 8th spot, hosting Gettysburg in the 9th spot. So we will be over in Lidditz, 7 o'clock. Tune in for that on Friday, the opening round of the 5A bracket. And as we're talking brackets, let's show you what the brackets look like here so you can see kind of the path for these Warwick Warriors here over the next couple of weeks, should they keep winning. They play Gettysburg this Friday. If Warwick is able to win that on their home turf, then they would advance to the quarterfinals against number 1 seed Governor Mifflin. So we have set the scene for everyone here. You see what lies in front for Warwick and the fans. Eric, you're preparing for this matchup on Friday. What do you like about kind of what we've just talked about there to set all of this up?
Well, and, going into the game last Friday night, before last Friday's games, Warwick was the number 9 team, which would have put them on the road going to Southwestern. Not only did they win that game, but then they did eventually count the game against Solanco, which qualified then as a forfeit, so they earned points for that. That helped them catapult into the number 8 spot and give them a home game, which, good for them, because they didn't get a chance to have that last home game, which would have been against Solanco. That would have been senior recognition night, obviously for the band, for the cheerleaders, for the football players. Now they get to have a home game in a district playoff game, and I tell you what, it sure beats traveling down to Southwestern, because if that were the case, I think the bus leaves in about an hour to get to Southwestern from here. So, and I'm looking through some of the information of Gettysburg. I'm still waiting on, hopefully some stats and stuff from the coach, but this is a big squad. This offensive line is big for Gettysburg. And look at the name, listen for the name of Landon McGee, 5'7", 141 pounds. This guy over the last 5 games, 862 yards rushing.
Wow.
Including 235 against New Oxford. So a team that relies heavy on the run, and this guy gets behind these big blockers, he can create some damage. So I think if you're Warwick, you just got to go back and look at the game tape of Cocalico, who likes to pound the ball. Warwick's defense has got to rise to the occasion in this ball game Friday night.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of similarities there in facing Cocalico. That's a great point, by the way, about the home game for Warwick. I think it might be their 3rd straight year that they've gotten to host a home game. We'd have to look into that. All right, Tim, your thoughts on Warwick hosting an opening round game here in the playoffs?
Yeah, just to sort of piggyback what Eric said about the offensive line of Gettysburg. Eric, I don't know if you saw this, but one of their offensive linemen, number 54, Frankie Richardson, 6'5", 285, Coastal Carolina commit. So you know that they're going to run by him. Coastal Carolina, we could have said 4 or 5 years ago, who the heck is that? Now they're one of the top teams in the country. They also have a freshman quarterback playing who has scored a lot of touchdowns. But Eric, this is a team that scores a lot, 43, but they also give up a lot. They give up about 30 points a game as well. So I think you're right. Warwick's got to go back to that tape where they saw Cocalico pound. I think Warwick can probably pass on this team. But you're right, boy, see a 5'7" running back getting that much, it's going to be a fun night. One thing, Eric, that we always talk about when you got a small running back and you got a big defensive or an offensive line, it's tough to pick up the ball carrier when they're so small. Not taking anything away from the guy's height, but that's the reality of it all. That's why he can get probably through those holes quick.
All right, what number is it, Eric? We'll keep an eye on him on Friday night.
Number 40. Number 40.
All right, number 40. All right. Just a reminder, Friday night, again, you can catch that game right here on Blue Ridge 11, 7 o'clock for that game. And as Eric pointed out, one last home game for these Warriors. So that is kind of cool that they're able to kind of come full circle after that forfeit that they were awarded by Solanco. We have bonus playoff coverage coming your way then the following week. We can already announce, because of the way the brackets are set up, that Manheim Central then will be on the channel, and we'll show you exactly kind of the scenario that Manheim Central is in as they await. They're on bye this week, but next Friday they will be on the channel, and let's show you exactly kind of what lays in front of them. Southwestern and Exeter will play in the 10-7 matchup, so the winner of that will then advance to next Friday to play Manheim Central, and we will be there back in Manheim live at 7 o'clock for that quarterfinal matchup. Of course, the Barons, well known for their playoff success. Let's show you their path in the bracket here, as they're down at the bottom side of the 5A bracket. They're not up with Warwick and Governor Mifflin. Instead, they're the 2 seed. Down on the bottom part there, you see Exeter Southwestern. So those teams would advance then to play Manheim Central, and then the winner of that on to the semifinals the week after that. So there's the bracket for you, Eric and Tim. Eric, let's hear your thoughts on Manheim Central. Obviously went 9-1 this season, only lost that game to Warwick, playing very well, and now 2 weeks to prepare for their playoff game.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because I saw a Manheim Central fan then last Saturday, and he was not happy about the Barons having a bye week. He likes the fact that the team is really starting to play well. You want to keep that momentum going, and he's fearful that a week off you might lose some of that edge. But I kind of take the adage of, talking to Coach Hahn before that CV game a couple of weeks ago, that, you get towards, week 9, week 10, you got some guys that are really banged up. You want to get them healthy. You want to get them on the mend so that they're ready to go full bore once they get to step on the field again. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Yeah, I can see the fact that you want to keep that momentum going, but you got to have everybody healthy and ready to go. So I'm sure that they'll be watching this game closely. This Exeter, program has done well the last couple of years. They've been a perennial district playoff contender. So I think that's going to be a team to watch. And the fact that, I mentioned about Warwick having to go to Southwestern. Now, Southwestern has to go past Lidditz and then go all the way up to Exeter. I mean, that is a haul. That is going to be a long day for Southwestern. But you know what? Once you get on the field, it's anybody's game.
Yeah, and I'm sure some people from Manheim Central staff will be there to watch and kind of take that game in. It's interesting that you pointed out that Manheim fan wanted the Barons to play this weekend. They would technically have then played the 15 seed in Fleetwood if they let 16 teams in. So it would have been Fleetwood at Manheim Central if that fan and maybe some of the other fan base would have gotten their way. All right, Tim, give us your thoughts on Manheim Central as they await their opponent in the quarterfinal round and are looking pretty good, looking like the Manheim Central of old that we're used to saying here in the district playoffs.
Yeah, they are. One area that I noticed the last couple of games that we have done is that Manheim Central, even though they're down or the games are tied, they aren't rattled. And just when you think that they're maybe pressing, they come out with a big play. Novak and of course, getting the ball out to his number one receiver, Sensnick, and then Novak running the ball. But again, it all starts with that offensive line, and they're really doing good. I might buy into that fan's argument if the Barons weren't playing either Southwestern from Hanover or a team from Reading up in the Exeter area. I just don't know if those two teams, even who wins, can even compete with Central. Southwestern is 6-4. They're only averaging about 280 yards total offense all year. Their quarterback is throwing 7 interceptions. As far as Exeter, they're averaging about 40 points a game. They're a little bit better, but they're only averaging 200 yards on the ground and not much more through the air. So I think Exeter plays in Berks County too. York Adams, I believe, Southwestern plays in Division II as well. So I agree with Eric. I think this is a time where Manheim Central can take some time off, heal a little bit. They're going to get tuned up a little bit by playing one of those two teams, which I think they're just going to throttle, and then they'll be ready to go 2 weeks from tonight or from Friday.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, keep in mind, we will have Manheim Central on next Friday in the quarterfinal round against one of those teams. So put that on your calendar and tune in for that. All right, let's look at the 4A bracket now. As one of our local teams has kind of shifted its classifications over the last few years, Cocalico is now in the 4A bracket, and they come in just at the 5 spot, just missing out on a home game. If they were in the 4 spot, they would host Berks Catholic instead. They will go to Berks Catholic. Keep in mind, that if you were a top 6 team in the 4A bracket, you are on bye this week. So 2 weeks for Cocalico to prepare for Berks Catholic, who is typically a very strong district team. So, Eric, again, let's give you a time to get your thoughts in here about Cocalico. A tough season with their schedule, but certainly playing pretty good football right now. We would have to anticipate that the conditions will be fine. None of that torrential rain next Friday. What are your thoughts on Cocalico in a pretty tough 4A bracket?
Yeah, I already looked ahead, on the weather forecast, and I think we'll be okay.
All right.
Kind of the same thing. If they would have won last Friday night, the script would have been flipped, and they'd be at home. But I think more importantly, just like with Manheim Central, this week off to get Cocalico healed, because they have had some injuries all season long. And, this is the time that you're going to need everybody at full strength or as close to full strength as possible. So I'm sure Coach Brian Stroll is going to take this time to, rally the troops and get them on the mends. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Berks Catholic, they played Mifflin last week.
I think so.
Or why missing? Yeah.
One of the big teams,
Yeah. So they were getting battle tested for the playoff run as well. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm trying to get a gauge on Berks Catholic, but I think if Cocalico can play their game and get their offense, really running on all cylinders, but even more importantly, cut down on the turnovers and then get the defense to get some turnovers. I think it would be a huge part of the ball game for them.
Berks Catholic lost to Governor Mifflin in Week 10, 42-13. So gave them a little bit of a game, but again, if you're, Governor Mifflin, nobody is really giving you a whole lot of a game this year. They're just absolutely unstoppable. I'm trying to see what their closest loss or closest win would have been. 42-13, 42-14 to Wilson, 49-13 over Harrisburg. I mean, those are 3 pretty good teams right there in 3 different classifications. All right, Tim, give us your thoughts on Cocalico before we wrap up this segment.
I think it's great that they are playing this week. Obviously, they would have liked to have won last week, but they got to get right back on the horse, as they say. It was a tough loss for them. The game got out of hand when they were trying to come back late. But I think the best medicine is you want to get back there, have some practices this week, and then go and get in the trenches again and just start really hitting people again. When you look at Berks Catholic, traditionally they have been very good. This year, though, not so much. They pretty much mirror what the Cocalico Eagles are, a team that averages close to 300 yards on the ground, averaging only 51 yards through the air. I don't know what it is about those teams up in the Reading area, but my gosh, all they do is just run. So I think Cocalico is going to be very prepared for this ball game. I think look for them to win. And then, boy, they have a tough matchup if they win, which I expect they should against Bishop McDevitt.
Yeah, that would be another huge game for them. They have faced Bishop McDevitt before in the playoffs and been unsuccessful, but got to get by that Berks Catholic team first, and that is next Friday. We will see how they do there.